Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the feature race at beautiful Belmont Park on opening weekend of the Fall Championship meeting, race number 4, the $100,000 Allied Forces Stakes. It's a race you can bet, it's a card you can bet, it's a meet you can bet with a DRF Bets account. Sign up, get 300% the deposit match. Deposit 50, bet 200. Bets.drf.com is where you need to go for all the information. Here's the field for the Allied Forces, and Mike, I know you hate this term, but isn't there going to be a barbecue up front?
I mean, there's nothing but speed in this race, so I guess they got to go a fast pace in here. I just don't see what other choice several of these horses have, but to just come out of there running and see what happens on the front end. There's way too much speed in this field.
Trainer Jason Service just seems like he's winning everything. He's entered 2 horses in here, the 1 Reed Can and your morning line favorite, the number 5 World of Trouble. And if ever a horse was bred to be a turf sprinter or to have success on the turf going short, it is World of Trouble. And this is a pretty good horse on the dirt as well. Yeah. But his turf debut in the Quick Call Stakes, yes, he caught yielding ground. Yes, he was able to make an easier early lead than he might be able to make on Saturday. But I just love the way he won that race.
I mean, those are the drawbacks to him, right? Because for a horse who's, I guess he's going to be the favorite in this race. Yes, he was bred to be able. He's bred to be able to handle the turf, so the surface switch didn't feel like it was going to be a problem for him. But man, so many things went right for him in that race. I mean, he just had easily the best speed in there. He was absolutely loose on the lead early in that race, and he did what he had to do in the stretch, and he prevailed again over yielding ground too. I actually feel like catching firmer turf would be a good thing for this horse on Saturday, assuming he gets firm turf. And, you know, I just think he's a really good horse, Dan. That's why I went with him. But there are some things working against him in this race.
But he's shown a lot of class in his career. The 3 losses, you have excuses for all of them. His second lifetime start, he bounced off the rail right after changing leads while in front. The Tampa Bay Derby was simply too far. The Woody Stevens, he just did an amazing amount of work battling with promises fulfilled in a race that just completely went to closers. If World of Trouble can get to the lead, this field's in a world of trouble.
Yeah, if he can. There's a lot of speed, but he may just be faster than them. He's a really fast horse and a really good horse. Here's a question for you, because this is something that I struggled with going through this race. And I know that, you know, coming out of that Woody Stevens, I think Sturvis said maybe he had a little bit of a fever, so he missed the Amsterdam at Saratoga, and that's why they went to turf. I mean, for a horse who's been as good as this horse has been on the dirt, does it bother you at all that they're trying to make him a turf sprinter and they didn't go for a race like the Allen Jerkins?
No, I think that's certainly a legitimate concern, especially since Service has all kinds of turf sprinters in his barn, like the number 1 Reed Can. But I just liked his race, his turf debut. You can always get him back onto the dirt. And again, when you're running against 3-year-olds for $100,000 where you know you're going to be favored instead of a tough spot like the Jerkins, maybe that's what swayed Service. As for Reed Can, he's a pretty fast horse. We remembered his race on December the 17th, his turf debut, where he popped an 89 buyer speed figure despite drifting out all the way to the center of the track. Since then, he was claimed by Service for 75. He's run perfectly fine, although he was willing to lose him for 30 last time out. His best game, though, is his speed, and I just can't imagine Service sending him out after World of Trouble.
I don't think he's fast enough anyway. We'll see what happens. I mean, this just feels to me like a horse who's in a really, really tough spot.
Key to this race might be the number 4 Gadoo for trainer Todd Pletcher, regally bred son of Frankel, showed the speed to be a turf sprinter early in his career, then was able to win going 2 turns at Tampa Bay Downs. They shipped him to Royal Ascot. They obviously think a lot of him. And if you just want to look at his last few races in which he's gotten beat, you can say he has legitimate excuses. The Jerkins, he's not a dirt horse. He did a lot of dirty work pressing a nice horse and promises fulfilled. The Hall of Fame, he was just a runoff, going 1 mile and a 16th, and he actually ran quite well considering the competition. Raging Bull, Ride a Comet, those horses are subsequent graded stakes winners and 2 of the better 3-year-old turf horses in the country. And of course, the Commonwealth Club, he's 40-1. He really wasn't embarrassed in that race.
He ran well in the Commonwealth Club, I thought. His Hall of Fame was actually a very underrated, good performance. I mean, he went a wicked pace in that race over really soft ground. He actually ran great in that race. I don't care about his last race. I guess they were just taking some kind of a shot in there. I don't even know what he was doing in the Jerkins. Other than that, his form is really solid. I actually look at him. He won at 7 furlongs over this turf course back in May. I didn't love that race, but he showed there that he'll track another horse on the lead. He did not make the front that day, and he did get it done over a couple of halfway decent horses in there. To me, I look at him and I feel like Shorter's probably even better for him. I know he won the 2-turn race at Tampa. He won the 7 furlong race. I actually feel like Shorter might be better for him. And you're talking about a horse who probably won't be favored in here, and you could make a very strong argument that he should be favored. He just might be the best horse.
Let's see what Timeform US has to say about the pace. No surprise that there's a red bar indicating a fast pace. No real surprise that World of Trouble is expected to make the front. If you think Reed can backs out of there, I would think that Colonel Tom might have a little bit more speed, the 6, because that's been his best game for trainer George Weaver. But if you think that Gadoo can rate, and I don't really see why he can't he sit just off the 5 and the 6?
Yeah, you wonder if he'll try and take that trip that he got in the Paradise Creek. That was a 7-furlong race, but he did just track another horse. Now, he did not try and go after that horse too early, and then he was able to wear him down in the stretch. I think World of Trouble, you know, when he's good, he's very, very fast. So he just might be a faster horse anyway. And then we'll see with Colonel Tom. I mean, he's a really nice New York bred. That was a quality win for him last time, but what a ride he got in there. Dylan Davis right up the inside, taking control of that race. And he just was never really threatened. He is facing a totally different world of competition here. These are much better horses than he beat last time, but you know what? He's lightly raced and he's pretty good.
And perhaps a much stronger pace than he's used to. 3 for 3 in his career, all when able to get to the lead. The only loss coming when he wasn't able to make the lead, but this is a horse that has shown some ability. It would be interesting to see if Dylan Davis decides to sit just off the 5 World of Trouble and maybe someone else towards the inside goes to the lead. Is Totally Boss the best closer in the race? It's hard to make that argument because in his 2 wins, he hasn't come from further out of it than a length and a half. Last time out in the quick call, though, I thought all things considering, yielding turf, stepping up in class, he ran well. It's just that he hasn't run that fast on turf just yet. He's only run twice on the surface.
Yeah, he's only got 2 turf starts. We'll see what happens in here. I thought maybe it's the yielding ground that you want to, that'll make you take a second look at him. I thought off the quick call, all things considered, I thought he got a pretty good trip in that race. I mean, he was in range, but wasn't right up there on the pace, and he had a look at least, I don't think he was going to beat World of Trouble. He had at least a look at least 2nd or 3rd in that race. I didn't think he finished with any great interest in there, but it was yielding turf. Maybe he'll appreciate firmer, and a really fast pace will set it up really well for him, but I'm not even sure he's the best closer in the race.
I think most folks believe that the best closer in the race is the number 2, Dirty, who came from out of it to win at Laurel, 2 starts back to the tune of a 90 Beyer speed figure, and not a lot of things went right for him in the quick call. He was very fractious. He broke through the gate. He was a runoff before the race started. He caught yielding turf to boot, and then he chased World of Trouble early. If this horse gets a fast pace, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he rolls him down under Javier.
I agree with all that stuff. I mean, to me, it's just one of those races where if you feel like the 2 favorites are going to hook each other here and go too fast and set it up for somebody, you're hoping they set it up for this horse because he is the best closer in the race.
A true rags to riches story, however, would be the number 3, Weather Report. This horse was claimed for $7,500 2 starts back. The Connections tried the turf, and he just freaked. He ran a 95 Beyer speed figure in that race. I believe that's the best Beyer speed figure that anyone in this field has ever earned. And he did it just freewheeling on the lead. Now, it's a little bit of a different story from Suffolk Downs when you're in for 25 to Belmont Park against stakes horses, but boy, he sure improved on turf.
Listen, I was taken by his performance. I saw the big figure in there. I went and watched the replay. He looked pretty good in that race on the grass. Boy, I'm going to be surprised if he can win this. I mean, he's just facing a totally different class of horse here, but we'll see what happens. Maybe he just wanted turf all along.
Or maybe he's the kind of horse that can go out there, push World of Trouble, set things up for the Colonel Toms, Gadoos, and Dirties of the world. Let's take a look at our pick for the Allied Forces Stakes. He's going to have to work for it this time around. We think he's the best horse.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't want to sit here and say that I love him in this race. It's just more of a situation where I just think he might be the best horse overall. I didn't really like anybody else. I really wanted to talk myself into Gadoo. I'm just not a huge fan of him.
5-4-2 for Mike, 5-3-6 for me in the $100,000 Allied Forces Stakes, the feature at Belmont on Saturday. Bet the card with the new DRF Bets account. You get a 300% deposit match. Go to bets.drf.com for all the details. Approximate post time for the Allied Forces, 3:04 Eastern. Good luck.